It's Wednesday. I know it was a late night for some folks, but I'm talking about one of the biggest trends going on right now in the advisor space. And so excited to be here and walk you through what's going on with charitable giving and, of course, how it can help your clients and your practice. Or as I like to say, how you could actually save your clients thousands of dollars in fees and taxes and have them thank you for it while they meet their charitable goals. A little bit about me, just so you know. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Daffy. Daffy stands for the Donor Advised Fund for You. It's a brand new platform, a tax-advantaged account where people can put money or assets aside for charity, get the charitable deduction, and then give to almost any legal charity in the United States. It's really a fantastic financial product. I also teach at Stanford University, a class called Personal Finance for Engineers, and I have a long history in technology. Some of you may know me as I used to be the CEO of Wealthfront. I've been on the board of Acorns for 6 years, and I've worked at other tech companies like Apple, eBay, LinkedIn, Dropbox, so I try to keep busy. But my passion right now is charitable giving, and it turns out it's not me alone. Everyone is talking about DAFs right now in the industry. You see articles everywhere. The assets are growing, the accounts are growing, and not surprisingly, people are noticing. Right? The compounded annual growth rate of donor advised fund accounts in the last 5 years alone is over 28%. They are exploding. And so it's a worthwhile question to ask, why? Why are so many people opening these tax-advantaged accounts for charity? Well, it's actually a pretty easy question to answer. First of all, it's a really big market. It turns out a huge percentage of American households donate to charity every year. In fact, the latest numbers say it's almost 50% of households. That's more than 60 million families out there who give to charity. It's an important financial goal for them. It's a part of their financial lives. Last year alone, they gave over $300 billion. That's not foundations, that's not companies, that's not institutions. That's over $300 billion to charity from individuals just like us. It's a huge market. And in fact, my motivation for starting Daffy was actually very simple. As much as people give to charity right now, we think they actually want to give more. It turns out that charity giving is a financial goal for a lot of families, but it's one that they don't put into their budget, they don't prioritize. And many advisors don't put it in there as well. And so what happens is at the end of the year, people are disappointed they didn't give as much as they intended to give. And we all know that if you set a financial goal, plan for it, budget for it, automate it, you're more likely to hit it. It works for retirement, it works for college savings, it works for buying a house, and it turns out it works for charity as well. And so our estimate is that actually if everyone actually made a goal for their giving with an app like Daffy, they could actually give an extra $1 trillion to charity over the next decade. And for us, that's something worth fighting for. So history doesn't repeat, but as the saying goes, it sure does rhyme a lot. Over the last 4 decades, we know that there's been amazing growth in these tax-advantaged accounts. I mean, it started over 40 years ago with retirement accounts, IRAs, 401ks. The last 20 years, 529s have continued to grow and compound. Is it really surprising that we're seeing the same energy now around donor advised funds? I mean, donor advised funds have been around for almost 80 years, and yet most people still haven't heard of them. And so what's a donor advised fund? It's simple. It's like I said, it's a tax-advantaged account. Basically, you can put money or, interestingly, assets aside for charity. You immediately get a charitable deduction for the full market value of those securities or the cash that you donate. Your money is invested tax-free in a range of portfolios and investments. And then, of course, anytime you want to donate money to any legal charity in the US, you just put in a recommendation and the money goes out. The best part is the charity doesn't need to do anything. They don't need to learn how to take stock. They don't need someone to figure out how to take crypto, a mutual fund, a small business asset, et cetera. They just get money from the donor advised fund, and you, of course, get the benefit of a better system for giving. For individuals, it's actually really great. Clients who have donor advised funds love them, and that's because giving combines 3 hard problems in one. First of all, most people are antsy about giving because they don't really know how much they can afford to give. And that's where advisors can add a lot of value because that can be part of your planning. People usually donate to the same organizations and causes every year. And so it's not hard to come up with a budget for it. The second part are taxes. Taxes are done based on the calendar year. But we all know that many of our clients have variable income. There's good years and bad years. And so the idea of putting money or assets aside in the years where your tax rates are higher and using that to fund the organizations you care about in years where your income isn't as high lets you hit your charitable goals no matter what your income looks like. And of course, the third problem is who to give to. And donor-advised funds give you the time to actually do the research and feel good that the organizations that are receiving your money will do what you expect them to do with it. So let's go through a few scenarios of why this really helps clients that we've seen in our own member base and with the advisors who use Daffy. First of all, let's just take a simple scenario, a windfall situation. You sell a small business, there's a liquidity event, you have a stock that ran up, it could even be crypto. Well, that means a high tax bill. Even with long-term capital gains taxes being lower, et cetera, it can be as much as, a state like California, New York, Illinois, it can be an incredibly high percentage. But it turns out giving to charity is one of the best deductions in the tax code. But the problem is most people aren't prepared in just a few months to make a decision about which organization will get that much money. Donor-advised fund solves that entire problem. You can actually contribute a portion of that stock or that asset to a donor-advised fund, get the charitable deduction, and then fund many years going forward of charitable giving. I myself, this is how I learned about donor-advised funds from a great accountant that I was working with when LinkedIn went public. And we see this story time and time again. Second scenario, and I already mentioned this, is avoiding capital gains taxes when you are selling stock. We actually just launched a calculator. It's free and available. You can use it for any of your clients. The URL's here on the slides. It will be published later. But it turns out that if you have held mutual funds, ETFs, or stocks for a long period of time, you've probably accumulated gains. You have shares that have a low-cost basis. You could donate money to your church, synagogue, school, your alma mater, whatever organization you want to, but most of them aren't set up to take stock, and so people give cash. But giving cash rarely makes sense compared to giving appreciated stock or funds or even crypto, because when you donate stock, you get the full charitable deduction for the market value of the security today, and you never pay the capital gains taxes. Now, this actually applies to almost any strategy that you have that involves buying and selling stock, especially when you're harvesting gains, or in some cases, like in my former roles, talking about tax loss harvesting, direct indexing, you can accumulate a lot of shares that have a low cost basis. And it turns out donating those shares is an immense value in taxes. I actually wrote a post in Kiplinger's a few months ago that actually talked about how even just simple strategies like portfolio rebalancing can be more tax efficient by taking advantage of a donor-advised fund. Right? If you have a client who gives $10,000 a year to charity in cash, it'd be much better suited at rebalancing time to have them donate $10,000 in securities and never pay those capital gains. And then instead of using that cash to give to charity, use that cash to rebalance the portfolio and buy up the underweighted asset. It's more tax efficient for the client, the charity gets their money, everyone wins. And actually, the amount that you can improve portfolio performance by lowering tax drag is significant, and your clients will thank you for it. The best part about it from my perspective is most charities, like I said, aren't set up to take stock or mutual funds or crypto or real estate. But donor-advised funds can solve this problem for you. So of course, I'm going to tell you that Daffy is the donor-advised fund for you. I literally am wearing it on my shirt. Gotta love the brand, that sort of thing. But we really built this platform from the ground up because we think that this problem is so important that it deserves a modern technology platform. We have both web and iOS native apps. We support almost every type of contribution. You can link your bank account, use a debit credit card. We even support Apple Pay, stock, ETFs, mutual funds, crypto. Any crypto that Coinbase supports, we can take as a contribution in as little as 10 minutes. We have a wide range of portfolios to choose from, ranging from conservative portfolios of cash, bonds, inflation-protected securities, all the way to pure crypto portfolios. If you want a plain Vanguard, index fund, low-cost portfolio, we have that for you. We have ESG portfolios. Whatever your client wants or you feel most comfortable with, we can support. And we support almost every legal charity in the US. The best part is for your clients, not only can they do it themselves, but they have access to all their tax receipts in one place every year. No more Gmail searches, mail searches looking for those donation receipts. And our fees are not asset-based. So unlike almost every other donor-advised fund out there, we have a flat membership fee that starts at just $3 a month. So the more assets you put in the donor-advised fund, the more money you save over competing solutions. I'll also say that we added built-in support for advisors. So your advisory team for your clients can be added to the account and actually perform contributions and donations on behalf of your clients silently, because we built this platform to be multi-user from the ground up. It also means you have access to the donation history and the tax receipts whenever you need it. And best of all, for you out there who are building advisory platforms, we just launched our API platform, so you can integrate Daffy directly into your client experience without sending them to our site if that's what you want. I will tell you, and I already mentioned it, you will save a lot for your clients in fees. We talked about taxes, but the truth is donor-advised funds have very high fees, even from institutions like Vanguard, Fidelity, and Schwab, which normally have very low-cost products. And in fact, you can see that the more money that your client puts in a donor-advised fund, the more money they will save, up to thousands of dollars per year. At Daffy, we have many accounts we have no minimum that are under $100, and our largest accounts are now over 10 million, and everything in between. So whatever your client needs are, we can support it. And lastly, I'll say one of our most popular features is the fact that we support multi-generational giving. You can actually add up to 24 family members onto an account. I have my children on the account, grandchildren, nieces, siblings, parents, grandparents. And the best part is the organizer maintains control. Everyone in the family gets notified when you make a donation. I had my kids come up to me once and say, I didn't know that we supported the Monterey Bay Aquarium. They were so excited about it. It's a great way to start conversations with the next generation about their giving. And more importantly, they can make recommendations for who to give to that you as a parent or organizer can accept, modify, or in some cases, reject. I do get some Amazon requests sometimes that I reject from my kids. Very natural. But anyway, I want to encourage everyone here. Our mission at Daffy is to help people be more generous more often, but we want to encourage all of you to think about the fact that charitable giving is an important financial goal. The donor advised fund is the right type of account to use for your clients, and I hope you'll select Daffy as the right platform to use. And I'll be here at the conference to answer questions. So thank you, everyone.